Alright, so this is a train. It's a little bit fancier than probably what they gave you when you moved into your house. But same basic concept. Uh, just like the upstairs, or the indoor unit, I'm sorry. You got your bottle of coil cleaner right here. And so just pump it. And you can spray the coil cleaner all over the unit if you want to, because I don't know if you can see on the top there, it gets kind of nasty. But pump it up, you know, until you start feeling a lot of resistance. And then just same thing as before, except you might want to make sure you're pointing upwards so you're shooting into the coil. But yeah, just like this. And your coil cleaner may or may not be high foaming. If it's not, then you don't have to watch and make sure that it foams up. But normally you can get any kind of condenser coil cleaner, but they do have the kind that is non-rinsing. This kind is non-rinsing, but we're gonna rinse it off anyway, just so that the unit looks really good. And try to stay away from the acid base. But yeah, just if you can, get a coil cleaner that works for the evaporator and the condenser and is a non-wash, like non-rinse. But yeah, so just spray the whole unit, spray the coil, make sure you get up in there, make sure you saturate it really good. And then you're gonna wanna let it sit for 5-10 minutes, whatever the bottle says. It should tell you on the bottle what the manufacturer's recommendations is, but whatever they recommend, let it sit for that amount. And then on the electrical, it's basically the same thing as the inside, being as you're not a heat and air person. I can't really go too much into detail on the electrical, but yeah, just basically look at your connections, and I'll show you the 2 screws you got to take off and the panel you got to get into. But just look for any hot spots, any wires that might be melted, anything like that, anything that looks like maybe it burned, it was getting too hot. That can alert you to, you know, trouble, maybe something you might need to address in the future. Really, the only thing I could tell you on the electrical that you might be able to do yourself is to change out a capacitor. And it looks like a metal circle or oval can with a bunch of metal prongs sticking out of it, and the wires are going in top. And usually on those, not always, but usually when they go bad, you'll see they'll either explode, which is rare, but most likely what they'll do is they'll bulge at the bottom or the top, and that's usually an indicator that your capacitor is dead. But that's not always true. Sometimes you need a meter, but if you come out to your unit and say it's not kicking the fan on, for example, but you hear the compressor, it hums and then it shuts off, it could be the capacitor. And you can Google what a run capacitor is, and you should be able to pull it up. And if you have that problem, I would just hang on, let me see where the disconnect on this thing is. Oh, okay. Well, okay, so this is a bad example because there is no disconnect. It's hardwired. So I don't know if you can see, it's like hardwired in there, but normally what you'll see is you'll see a box on the wall here. If you lift it up, there's something for you to pull out. That's your disconnect. And so just pull that out, and then take a picture. Take a lot of pictures of the capacitor, how it's wired up, the colors and all that, where they go, and then just take that in to the parts store, and they'll give you another one, and then you can switch it out. But and then basically all you're gonna do is just take your hose. I normally use a spray gun, but I don't have one on this hose. But yeah, just spray it down all around. Spray, yeah, just spray it really good, really good. And you can do it while the unit's running. You don't necessarily have to kill power to the unit. Yeah, I would just stay away from this electrical box while the unit's wet. I'd let it dry before you go in there and mess with anything. But yeah, hopefully that helps. And if you have any questions, just hit me up on Messenger or whatever. All right, see ya.